Yes.
To figure out who was behind a massive federal hack. The hackers broke into dozens of networks, including the Department of the Treasury and Commerce. No word yet on what sensitive information might have been stolen, if anything. The FBI is looking into it. And things are beginning to look grim 3,000 miles away. The European Union and the United Kingdom are teetering on the brink of a no-deal Brexit departure. Yesterday's self-imposed deadline came and went without any progress. Prime Minister Boris Johnson has until the end of the year to make a deal, or his country will leave the European Union with no plan in place. I'm John Scott. We take you back now to life, liberty, and Levin.
Welcome back, Peter Schweitzer. China wanted Biden to win. China is elated. This is exactly the wrong time in our history to have an appeaser like Biden, an appeaser administration up against a very aggressive regime. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's enormously challenging and troubling for the United States because China, before November, clearly said that Joe Biden was their preferred candidate, and why wouldn't he be? China, under President Xi, has created a very ambitious plan to challenge American military supremacy going forward, to challenge our technological superiority, and to pass us in terms of manufacturing and economic might by 2049. This has been Xi's ambition. He's been open about it. The Chinese government is engaged with it. And the question is, what is the United States going to do in the face of that? Now, under the Trump administration, you had a strategy that said we are going to negotiate trade deals that do not mean we give away all of our technological secrets to Beijing. We are going to challenge the military ambitions that they've expressed in the South China Sea. We're going to challenge the legitimacy of the regime itself. As Mike Pompeo has done as Secretary of State, very much like Ronald Reagan did in the Cold War when he called the Soviet Union an evil empire. These are very, very important steps. Joe Biden's position is completely different. Now, what you're going to get, I think, from a Biden administration is, some tough rhetoric, but that is not of interest to China. They don't care what the rhetoric is coming out of Washington. They care about action. And I think the Bidens are feeling very sensitive to the fact that people are now aware of these commercial relationships. So they're going to, in a sense, try to talk tough for at least a little bit. But their response to everything, whatever China does, is we just need more engagement. And that's a ridiculous position, because what more engagement means is we're going to keep doing more business with them. We're going to continue to transfer technology to them. We're going to continue to, talk about things, but not actually take action. So we need to watch Biden very, very closely. We need to continue to expose this relationship. And it's part of the reason, Mark, why I think we need to have an independent investigation. Look, the Biden family is now economically tied in a multiple number of ways to the Chinese regime itself. They have literally put money in the pockets of the Biden family. They are our chief rival. We need to know the full extent of those relationships. The Bidens have lied about it repeatedly. They've dismissed it. We need to know what our chief rival is doing in terms of their commercial relationships with the man that is supposed to be our commander-in-chief.
And this is the problem, the breakdown of the media in this country, which is complicit. It's complicit in this. And this is why the current president of the United States, Donald Trump, is right to continue to fight what took place in this election, and why the people who support him are right to continue to back him, regardless of all the static in the background and so forth. Let's go back to Joe Biden specifically. Joe Biden specifically is accused of taking a cut, or he's to receive a cut, a big cut, of the money that Hunter Biden is negotiating to get out of the Communist Chinese Front Company. Can you explain that a little bit further?
Yeah, it's interesting. This confirms the emails on the laptop, because Tony Bobulinski, who is on that email chain, has the same emails, which proves that they're genuine and true. And the deal's very simple. He was brought in to set up a company that was going to be funded by CEFC, a Chinese energy company with links to the Chinese military. They were going to put in an initial investment of $10 million. It was just seed capital, and it was going to be a so-called infrastructure fund. And when they broke out who was going to get what ownership stake of the company, it made reference to setting aside 10% for, quote-unquote, the big guy. Now, Bobulinski has lots of communications that he shared with me, emails and texts, where Joe Biden is referred to as the big guy, or the, quote-unquote, the chairman. So it's clear what they're talking about. What they decided to end up doing, Mark, to protect Joe Biden, is they said, well, maybe we should just give that 10% stake to Hunter, so Hunter now has 20%. And that's really what has happened in a lot of these commercial relationships. Hunter Biden is the stalking horse. He's the avenue by which foreign entities funnel money to Joe Biden. Joe Biden gets plausible deniability, which is a phrase that Joe Biden's used in communication with Bobulinski. But the end of the result is the same. Foreign money is flowing to Joe Biden. They've come up with a sophisticated way of trying to launder those relationships, cover them up. But the question remains, how much money has Joe Biden himself received? And I think the evidence is pretty overwhelming that he's got his cut from the Chinese every bit as much as Hunter and James Biden have as well.
When we come back, Peter Schweitzer, as I listen to you, they have to defend and protect Hunter Biden at all costs. Because it sounds like if Hunter Biden goes down, then Daddy might go down too. We'll be right back. The media, the Democrat Party, and the entrenched bureaucracy. And they all work together, they all feed off of each other, and they all empower each other. And then you have we the people. And in this case, we had a representative for we the people called Donald Trump, President of the United States. That iron box has done everything it can to destroy him and his administration and to handicap them. Think about all the successes he's had, even with all of that. And now we have the Democrat Party and big media and big tech that did many things during the course of this election, which they hope would ensure Biden's victory. Changing rules in violation of state constitutions, changing rules in violation of the federal constitution. And all the rules are changed to do what? To allow fraud and to institutionalize fraud. They're not good government changes. No signatures, no matching signatures, no postal dates and so forth. What's that all about? That's about corruption. That's about empowering the Democrat Party, the way they took over California, Ronald Reagan's home state. And in our own country, the Chinese have penetrated virtually all aspects of our culture and government. Hollywood, the NBA, Wall Street, colleges and universities, Capitol Hill, so many corporations. And now a man who demands to be president of the United States through all this corruption, all this thievery, Joe Biden, the wrong man at the wrong time. And this country's in trouble. And the media is a major reason we're in trouble. If we had a true free press that wasn't trying to destroy one president and trying to create another president, we wouldn't be in this situation now, would we? We need the appointment of a special counsel, like it or not, and we need the appointment now. And we need a media that will hold these people responsible. We need it now. We're going to have to work on that. We're going to have to work hard on that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you next time on Life, Liberty, and Levin.